Before I call the next speaker, next member to speak, could I make it known to them that if they have not concluded their remarks before 2 p.m, I will be interrupting them for question time, and they will then be invited to speak immediately after question time. Call Mr. Martin.
That sounds like a very tempting and generous offer, but I'm hoping to finish by 2 p.m. And Deputy Speaker, there's many people who have congratulated you on your elevation, so I'll do that as well, although you've been here quite a while now, like myself, but congratulations on your appointment. I wanted to touch on some matters that perhaps would enhance the budget that the Minister has in the time ahead, on the basis that we have many pressing demands on our funds. I wanted to just touch on first the investment fund, Deputy Speaker. When I last looked, the Minister had managed to put over £40 million into the new investment fund. Perhaps in the last 7 days that has increased again. But I would like to ask him to explore, as part of the growth of the investment fund, the opportunity to attract funds from abroad. I'm thinking in particular of pension funds who would see an investment fund in this region as a very attractive proposition. Of course, it would be a borrowing, it would be a loan that have to be paid back, but I do believe that the rates would be favourable, and I do believe it would give us that extra Zaza boom, I believe they call it, give us that extra push in our investment programme. And in that regard, when the Minister was at kindergarten in 1995, there was actually talk of a peace bond. The Minister doesn't have the powers to issue a bond, but I do think that we need to explore in an imaginative fashion how we could work towards a bond if we had the powers, but certainly give away to our allies and friends across the globe, but particularly in North America, in investing in building the peace and building the economy. And as he explores that, the baby sister of the investment fund, of course, is the Social Innovation Fund, which at this stage is only £5 million from dormant funds, but hopefully will grow. And I'd like to ask the Minister again, in relation to that fund, to look beyond making that a fund from which voluntary or charitable or faith group bodies can borrow, but in fact, is there a way to match funds which are contributed by philanthropists? I'm thinking in particular, I'll ask Concordia, of the Community First programme in England, which runs until the end of March this year, where the Treasury set aside £50 million and said if those with wealth come forward and wish to establish a fund, that they would match that. So if a generous individual came forward in Bristol or Manchester or London and said, I wish to have a new fund with £1 million, the government came forward out of its kitty and matched that. We know the great work that the Community Foundation here does in making sure that funds which are donated by philanthropists are distributed to those in need and to agencies which are tackling poverty and building the social economy. But I think that may be something we should do as well. There are other bodies and other agencies which do loan to voluntary groups and charitable groups and enterprise agencies and so on. But at this stage we don't have a fund, to my knowledge, where if someone who wished to contribute perhaps to their local area, they come forward with funds that we would match it. So I perhaps in the time ahead, with the Social Innovation Fund, the Minister might look at that. And then the second area, Deputy Speaker, is an organisation in the US called the Calvert Foundation. And what it does is it asks individuals to lend it money, lend it funds, and it distributes those to usually inner cities. And it seems to me that the Calvert Foundation model could be used around our peace lines. The people who wanted to support the peace, build the economy, these are small donations. They could donate to our Social Innovation Fund, have that matched by the Minister and see their money contribute to building the peace. The last thing I want to say, I'll ask Concordia, is to echo the comments of Mr Eastwood, which always stops you talking when your name's mentioned, without a doubt. I want to echo his calls. I made it up to what the city that I call Derry, which the Minister calls Londonderry, and my esteemed colleague, Ms Boyle, refers to Greater Strabane. But I was in Derry City last week, met the Chamber, met ILACS, met the new CEO of the Derry City and Strabane District Council, and I would really make a plea to all the parties here in the next budget session, next programme for government, we really need to get our act together in relation to the North West. We need to expand McGee College. We need to create the infrastructure. I do believe that the potential under corporation tax is limitless. We could move into a new era of job creation, and as part of that new era, there needs to be a new peace dividend and a new era for the North West.